So let's do the business rules table for this process and this context of shipping the organ to the hospital. So regardless of the actual verb we choose, this has to be the context of our questions. So for a single specific organ request, this thing here, how many hospitals, we don't ship hospitals, right? So since organ requests don't ship hospitals, NA, we don't care. For a single specific organ request, one of these, how many organs fill that request and are shipped to the hospital? Could be one. For a single specific request, we've said there could not be more than one organ for that. And it can't be none because we actually have to ship something in this case. So an organ request has to have one organ, must have one organ that's connected to it. For a single specific hospital, how many organ requests? We don't ship organ requests either, so I'm going to put NA. For a single specific hospital, how many organs are shipped to that hospital? Well, it could be one. Could be several that are shipped to the hospital. Remember that this question isn't about the request, it's about the hospital. So there could be several over time. And for a single specific hospital, is it possible that we never ship an organ to that hospital? The answer is yes, as it was previously. Under what circumstance would that be true? Because they've never made a request, which was filled and shipped to them. Going on to the next cell, next anchor object for a single specific organ, how many organ requests? Well, organs don't ship organ requests. I'm going to put NA there. Okay. So for a single specific organ, how many hospitals would that single specific organ be sent to? Well, it can be sent to one. Now, we have to ask the question here, what do we mean by sent to? Do we mean that we receive notification from the hospital that they got it? Or do we mean that it's on the way? We've actually shipped it, but it doesn't arrive. Remember that when a hospital cancels a request, it can by default disconnect the organ from that request and therefore make that organ available to other requests if it's recalled and is never received by the hospital. So I think we should make this based on it being received in this case. So in that case, we're going to make sure that's clear in our notes with this as well. So for a single specific organ, how many hospitals could be sent to? And we've said that in terms of received, it can only be one. If we say it's shipped but not received by the hospital, then we could possibly have more than one because it might be recalled. It might also be recalled and never be shipped to anyone and received by anyone. So it depends on what the answer is. You've got to talk to your subject matter experts about that, find out what their perspective is, because as you can see, we can make up answers. They can be really, really interesting and even good answers, but they can be 100% wrong, no matter how good we feel about it. You must talk to your subject matter experts. You must talk to the client because they have the answers. When you ask them clear and concise questions like this, notice that these are closed-ended questions, and they call for a yes or a no. They're going to tell you what the real perspective is, and you're going to resolve what we mean by shipping it. We mean it was shipped but not received necessarily, or was it shipped and received by the hospital? So that has to be resolved when you get to that. So it's not paint by the numbers. You really have to think about the questions, and you have to engage the client, engage the subject matter expert in the questions around the questions that you may find.